Log in. Whew. Give y'all a minute to log in real quick. I hope you're doing well wherever you're watching from. So we got a lot to talk in this video. I'm just gonna give you guys an update. Yes, we are road tripping across the United States. Um, yep, we're road tripping across the United States. It's about 1:30 in the morning or something like that, and we are in Pennsylvania. Um, Let me just give you guys a minute to catch up, start swimming in and all that. I'm in Pennsylvania right now. Um, we were supposed to go all the way up to Boston and Connecticut and all that, but I kind of got tired of. Yo, what's up? We're in PA. Oh, we're up in the mountains somewhere. I have no idea where I'm at. Literally, we just got off on an exit somewhere in Pennsylvania. We just drove into Pennsylvania, so I don't even know where I'm at. I lied to you if I told you where I knew where I was at. So we're in Pennsylvania, heading westward. Like we're supposed to go to New York, up north of New York or Connecticut. By the way, it's cold up here. It's literally like 59 degrees in the mountains. Yeah, it's 59 degrees. That's crazy because in Florida right now, you walk outside right now in Florida. What's up, Jay? What's up? I seen you texting me, bro. My bad, man. Like, I've been tired. Let me grab my little stabilizer so I can catch up with you guys real quick. Poconos, maybe. Yeah, around the Poconos. I saw a sign that said Poconos or something like that. I saw a sign that said Poconos. I don't know. I saw a sign that said Poconos on the way over here. Um, just catch up with you guys real quick since I can't really sleep. I'm not sleeping good. Even though it's like 1:30, it's cold. Like it's really cold out here. Like let me see if I can at least put the phone down real quick on my truck bed. I got a stabilizer somewhere, but like let me see if I can do this. No, I really wish I would have made up to Warwick. I wanted to make it up to Catskill, Warwick, all that. In the morning, we'll decide what's next. My camera lens kind of, hold on, y'all. Let me clean this real quick. See if it's better. There we go. Okay, it's gonna be glare no matter what. So let me just catch up with y'all. So basically, just having trouble sleeping. You know, I got a lot on my mind. Like, we sold the house in Alabama, came to Florida, rented a place in Florida. I didn't even buy it. I spent so much money like crazy. Like, literally, I spent like half of what we're worth. You know, so we're kind of in a crazy spot. Eventually, I'm gonna know what I want to do with myself, and then we'll kind of, you know. But right now, we are somewhere in Pennsylvania, and yes, it is literally cold out here. Like it's literally cold. Like it's like 59 degrees because we're up in the mountains. So it's literally like it's cold. Like you can literally feel like cold air coming at you, which is crazy because like if you're in Florida right now, it's hot. Basically, I mean you'll see the videos. I kind of freaked out in New York City. New York City was more than I could handle. I mean, the people, just everywhere, and like I don't know, I just couldn't handle it. All right, so it's on system. Let me read your comment. Hey Jose, you look tired traveling around the country. Yep. Um, I hope you and Katie are resting. You've been doing a great job. I've been loving every video coming out. Yeah. Go to the Bronx and walk to the hood. Nah, that's kind of stupid. Like I'm watching this YouTuber. Like I don't know who this YouTuber is. He just ran across my feed because I guess since I was in New York City, YouTube figured out I was in New York City. So they started recommending me live streams from New York City, which I didn't know YouTube did that. So apparently, like, if you are somewhere, YouTube recommends live streams near you. So like right now I'm in Pennsylvania. Somebody in Pennsylvania might get a live stream seeing me because that's just the way YouTube works, I guess. So I went to New York City, so I started getting live streams about New York City. And I'm watching this young kid that he goes around doing live streams at night in New York City. Okay, sounds cool. But I'm looking at his comments and the people that are watching this video. I'm thinking, all these young people want to move to Florida. And they have no idea what the crap they're getting into. I was raised in Brooklyn, but left years ago. I'm in Alabama now. That's interesting. So from Brooklyn to Alabama, what part of Alabama did you end up? You don't have to be specific, but just what area. I'm just curious, because Alabama was hard on me. Like I think the problem with Alabama was really that people got jealous. I made people jealous. Like once I noticed they were hating on me, then I was like, oh okay, and then I gave them a reason to hate me. Really, And at the end of the day, like I don't do too good with psychology because I'm a very intellectual person. So when you start playing psychology, Northwest, see that's the one part of Alabama I didn't go to. Northwest Alabama, I didn't go to too much. I went to Northeast Alabama a lot. The narrow streets, the people, yeah. And it's crazy because I've been to Miami, I've been to like a lot of big cities, but New York, kind of like it's just like the drive, the fact you can't like in Miami, I can go to Miami, and if I get tired, I can just park and get out and walk around. Like the fact that there's nowhere to park, you're just stuck in your car. You know what I mean? I've been through a lot, and I probably need psychological help at some point. Right next to Mississippi. All right, I get you. Yeah. I drove out of Birmingham through an area called Jasper, and it looked really nice. It looked nice. I'm not gonna lie. The problem is that like, unfortunately, and I didn't know this about me. And like, as a Cuban, we have to like, I think Cubans, Koreans, Cambodians, a few other people, like we're so like there's so much essence to our personality and our culture that unfortunately we have to live in like these four different places: California, New York, or Florida, because like our culture is so strong that it's just we can't really like melt. You know what I mean? We can't really become part of the fiber of a bland culture. Like we have to. We're outstanding individuals. So I feel like as a Cuban, that's super Cuban because I am super Cuban. Like there's so much. Even though I'm married to an American woman and everything, like I'm still super Cuban, and that's something hard for these people regionally to like kind of soak in and really understand. You know what I mean? Um, so I don't know, like really, like I part of me likes the country. It's just the psychology that I didn't really like. You know what I mean? Like, imagine like you're outside your house at night, and your neighbors are shooting their guns, and you know the reason they're shooting their guns is to try to intimidate you. That after a while, it just gets to you because I'm from Florida, and eventually, what I want to do is unmentionable in this city. You know what I mean? Like, Jose did everything you could do. Yeah, but in Alabama, I did everything I could, man. Like, look, I worked hard, and that was the first problem because they don't like to work hard. Like, I got a city hustle, no doubt about that. Like, I got a city hustle. I'm always working. They don't like that. They don't like to see you like making money and stuff. I got a car to match them. I dressed like them. I I learned their history. I did everything I could. Like they don't like you because you're not from there. Like they don't even like each other. What makes you think they're gonna like somebody that's not from there? So it's not really a place for somebody like me. Like I went to New York City, which is like, so here's Alabama, right? I lived in Alabama for 1 year. That's like one extreme of things. And then I went to New York City, which is like the other extreme of things. But come to find out, after seeing these places that supposedly are so different, like spend a year in Alabama, now I go to New York City. Like you think they're two totally different extremes. I see so many similarities between these two places, even though they're distinctly different. Somehow I find so many similarities between these two people, like city people and way backwards people. They do have a lot in common, and I see it, which is kind of crazy. I do think there's a lot in common between these two groups of people. Ironically, somehow there is a lot in common. I got to think about what I'm gonna do with my life. I mean, like even my family, I'm just go on a road trip. It's just find yourself, because you really got to find yourself right now. You're right about Alabama. I'm not from the South, and I still expect there. After 17 years, you're still a New York Yankee, a New York Yankees baseball fan. That's all you are. And not and like when I go to New Jersey, I'll be honest with you, like when I saw Hoboken, I realized like okay, these are all certain type of people. I enjoyed being there. Like I would never go and hang out in like West New York at night, and that's like my demographic. Like I'm Hispanic, but I don't want to be around Hispanic people. I want to be around rich white people. You know what I mean? Like so, but I feel that a lot of times we're just getting pushed out. Like we can't even have something nice because we get pushed out. Like Lehigh is a place for Spanish people. Like that's the only thing we got in Southwest Florida is Lehigh, bro. These rich people are moving to Lehigh. Like where are we supposed to go next? Like when I went all the way to Alabama and experienced all this, It's because already, like in North Florida, there's like it's like we're getting pushed out. Like, where are we supposed to live eventually? Like, like you got these people from this background over here. They went to school. They were born with a silver spoon in their whatever, and they're pushing out people that have no like competitive edge against them. Like right now, Naples, which rich people in Naples, where I'm originally from, bro. Naples is like I left Naples in a 1 year period. Naples went from being like 10% Cuban. Like I'm going to guarantee you, I don't know when the census comes out again. Naples has to be like 30 or 40% Cuban. It's because all the Cubans in Miami that got money are getting pushed out of Miami, so they're ending up in Naples. So like regular Cubans from Miami are pricing out rich people because even richer people are moving into Miami. So these ultra wealthy people from New York move to Miami and they push the Cubans out. So now the Cubans are forcing out like the rich people that already. It's like, what the crap is going on? And I think with a lot of people, like a lot millennials, we're too quick. I think millennials are too quick, like to do things. Like, give you an example. Like, 20 years ago, if you were gonna move somewhere, you knew somebody. Like, oh, my uncle's in New Jersey, so I'm gonna go to New Jersey. Like, there's like 5 Cuban communities, like Las Vegas, New Jersey, Miami, and like Louisville, Kentucky, and like Charlotte, North Carolina. You know what I mean? Like Chicago, DC, whatever. Like 5 Cuban communities throughout the whole country. Now there's Cubans all over the country because it's just like with technology, it's this explosion of information. But there's some things that you cannot track statistically. There are some things, like if you're thinking about moving, there's some things that you cannot track statistically. Like there's some things like Alabama, for example, is a perfect example. There's some things you cannot track statistically. Like literally, like one like Alabama, like they can literally make every student graduate, and you think, oh, they're doing everything right, or like I don't know. Let me go through some of you guys' questions. Y'all can ask questions if you want, like really. I'll try going to sleep. I just can't go to sleep. I'm just like, there's too much on my mind right now, so I can't sleep. I mean, going to New York City was incredible, no doubt about that. I did not like how much money. It's like tolls, and then more tolls, and then like more tolls, and like you got to pay to park. It's like the amount of money that went out. Like literally, with 1 day in New York City, I could have done like 10 days anywhere else. It just makes no sense. Big J, I don't know, bro. Yeah, I don't know who it is, man. I just know that it is concerning to me where I'm at right now because it's like, okay, the people that outprice me are now getting outpriced. So what crap chance do I have? You know what I mean? Like sometimes, like I've said, I don't regret living in Naples. I've said it a lot, but do I really don't regret it? I recognize that I'm probably never gonna get any piece of real estate in Naples ever again, and that's where I'm from. But I don't even like it anymore because it's not what it used to be. Now I'm in Lee County, and Lee County is not home. Like I don't even like home doesn't even exist anymore. Like what I thought was home doesn't even exist anymore. You know what I mean? Like what I used to think was this is home, that doesn't exist anymore. So let me go through some of these comments real quick. You gotta be rich as crap to survive in New York. Yeah, Mike, I don't even know how they do it, bro. And it's a lot of young kids, mostly young kids. So I would really like to have some more in depth understanding of how all these little rich kids, they gotta have rich parents. That's what it comes down to. Because they ain't working, they ain't doing nothing. I mean, all they're doing is just they might be going to getting some education, but they're not really doing anything. They're not What are they producing? YouTube videos? What are these kids producing? What companies are waiting? I don't get it. I don't get it. And like they all think, oh, all these tech jobs are going to Miami. All these tech jobs are going to Tampa. All these tech jobs are going to Orlando, bro. Ain't nobody in Florida make a living off tech jobs. There's like 3 ways to make a living off Florida. It's washing dishes, or building houses, or being retired. That's it. Like for real. Like what shocked me about like coming to New York? Like you go into every single metropolitan city in the entire country, from Chicago to Memphis to Nashville, all you see are pickup trucks with ladders on the back and people working. Okay, you get on the interstate in Southwest Florida, it is pickup truck with ladders and a cement guy and a drywall guy and a carpet guy and a cabinet guy and another dump truck and then a semi truck. Like, stuff is being made and produced within the realm of real estate and within home remodel and mostly home construction. Bro, you go into New York City, you don't see that at all. Okay, so now I learned in Alabama, but just because you don't see something doesn't mean it's not there. Because in Alabama, when I first analyzed Alabama, like just driving through, I was like, well, there's no money here. I'm gonna starve. Like, that's what I thought about Alabama. Like, when I looked at Alabama, when I first got to Alabama, I told Katie, we're gonna starve up in here. Like, literally, like, I told Katie, like, we're gonna starve. Like, there's no way we're gonna make it in Alabama. And we actually did really well in Alabama economically. Much better than Florida, believe it or not. Which doesn't make sense if you think about it, because here's a place that's ritzy and there's money and rich people and all that, and here's a backward state. In that backward state, you can actually make money easier than in the city because of how competitive the labor force is. But you go to New York City and you don't see any economical activity outside of, I mean, within the realm of like home construction, because like the houses that these people are living in are like 200 years old or something, and they're still brick houses that are standing. So like, they don't have to throw a foundation. They don't have to make a house. The house has been there for 200 years. You know what I mean? Like, generation after generation has lived in that house. The stock market, I understand trading, education, a lot of the stuff. It's a different world. I just question how the rest of the world, the people that go to work, the people that drive a truck, the people that have land, the guy that's got 100 acres in Wyoming, the guy that's got 100 acres in Montana, how those people in New York City can assume that they are somehow able to kind of, I don't know, like manage that for them, or I don't get how it works. Like, I don't like stocks. All these, every YouTuber thinks that they're an economist. Like, every YouTuber you watch, including myself, I do it. But I let you guys know I'm a high school dropout, and I'm just telling you my opinion. I mean, when I watch these YouTubers and they talk like they're economists and they went to school and they studied, and I'm sitting here like, bro, your opinion is as good as mine. You know what I mean? Like, you're not, I don't know. But it's really a lot to think about, like seeing all these different places. Like right now I'm in Pennsylvania, right? In my mind, it's the Rust Belt. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's supposed to be crap. But this little town that I'm in now, I mean, I'm tired. When I drove in, I didn't look around too much. But this town has like everything that Lehigh Acres, Florida needs to have and doesn't have. You know what I mean? Like, this is a little town in Pennsylvania I've never heard of. My hotel, like, you can tell the parking lot's brand new. The hotel's new. Like, the trees behind me are new. The buildings behind, like, this town wasn't even, like, this has all been built in like the last 3 years or something. Like, it's a brand new town with every restaurant, every millennial thing, every suburban Starbucks, Panera, Marshalls, TJ Maxx, whatever the crap. And then driving into town, you see nothing but like brand new. Fuck, there's just new stores right there. Like, everything's brand new. It's like a little town in the middle of Pennsylvania, and it's got everything. How the crap Lehigh Acres, 200,000 people in South Florida where everybody wants to move to, and you don't even have one brand new hotel. You don't have one Applebee's. You don't have one Panera. You don't have one Starbucks. Like, what I can't wrap my mind around is how supposedly Florida's growing. And a lot of these people that live up here, I don't think they get that crap. Like, they're moving to Florida and they do not understand Florida at all. Let me read some of these comments. Hey, yo, Big J says, I'm from the MIA, Miami. I got a chance to meet Jose and Miss Katie in Alabama for lunch, but in reality, I'm just like Jose, sincerely cannot stand this place. Yeah, bro, I understand. Like, me and you, we share the same struggle with Alabama, bro, that a lot of people in Alabama have. Like the last little bit, like when I lost it and I snapped in Alabama, like, I snapped. And I'm not snapped, I mean, like I went off the wall one. Like, what it came down to is like when I realized that I'm not gonna pretend to be somebody I'm not. I'm Cuban. I'm from Florida. That's who I am. Okay. When I realized that I wasn't going to pretend to be somebody I'm not. You know what I mean? Like I realized, okay, I'm not gonna pretend to be somebody I'm not. Like, so one day I just snapped in Alabama, and I was like, I started blasting Spanish music. I started like being ignorant as crap. I started talking in Spanish out loud, and I just snapped. I just said, no, like, this is not who I am. I'm not gonna pretend to be somebody I'm not. And with that, I realized that when I did that, that a lot of other people around me were also doing the same thing. They were suppressing who they were. Like I met people from Bosnia, I met people from Germany, I met a lady from Portugal, another guy from Portugal, Brazil. All these people were Cuban even, like people from all these places are in Alabama pretending to be some redneck kicks when that's not who they are. Like a lot of people from Florida, like when I got to know everybody on my street in Alabama, for example, like they all played the role of, well, we're backwards hicks. They all pretend to be some backward hicks. You know what I mean? But let me tell you, after you get to know them, like more than half of them were from Florida. One of them was even Cuban. Like, but they like erase who they are. Like one, like look at that. Italians were in New York. Nobody in the last. There's no Italians from New York coming from Italy. These people came like 4 generations ago. But those Italians are still Italians in New York. And when you think about New York, you think about pizza and like everything that's Italian because they infused there were Hungarians, there was Irish, there's all these people, African, all these people moved to New York from all these places back in the 1800s and whenever, right? But today, when you think about New York, you think about pizza because the Italians were like the cultural monsters. You know what I mean? Like Germans might and Swiss and Dutch might have been more sophisticated. They might have ran banking. They may have been the business people doing the paperwork. But the Italians were the cultural fiber of New York. And with Florida, Cubans are that cultural fiber. Like 3 or 4 generations from us, they may not speak Spanish. People in New York don't speak Italian anymore. I didn't hear anybody in New York talking Italian, but they're eating pizza. You know what I mean? 3 or 4 generations from now, South Florida, people are going to be eating Cuban food and they're going to be drinking Cuban coffee because that's the fiber of the place. You know what I'm saying? Lots of bagels in New York. Yeah, I got a lot of bagels. Stop pretending no one is forcing you to be anyone. No, yeah, you are forced to be somebody you're not. What are you talking about? Like everybody, a lot of people in Alabama, they're not like that. Give you an example. Now, we don't do politics on this channel, but this is just a really good example. When I was in Alabama, I talked to hundreds of people. Not a single person that I talked to in Alabama, not a single one told me that they voted Democrat. Nobody told me they voted Democrat. One person told me they did, and they were pretending to be because they weren't really that way. I come to find that out later, but they were just pretending. Nobody in Alabama told me that they vote Democrat. However, when Alabama goes to vote, 40% of Alabama votes Democrat. And only about 33% of Alabama is black, which means that about 15% of white people are voting Democrat. Do you see those people? And that's not including that every black person doesn't vote Democrat. It means there's a lot of people in Alabama who, when they secretly, they're like this. But when they out in the public, that's not who they are. I got to know these people. Like, they are not no different than people in New York. Not everybody believes in procreating the way man and female. Some people in Alabama are just like the people in DC. They're just like the people in San Francisco. They're people who I really was. They showed me who they really were. You know what I mean? It's interesting. I'm getting to know you better. Yeah, bro. Yeah. Well, sure. Voter fraud. No. Get out of here with that garbage, man. Remember the lady who changed her last name to fit up there? Yeah, yo, that's common, Mike. Okay, Mike brings out a conversation me and him had together in private, which is that people in Alabama, and not only Alabama, Mike, I was just in North Carolina. People in North Carolina, Texas, not so much Texas, but like North Carolina, Alabama, Georgia, they changed their last name, like they're Spanish or they're Portuguese or whatever, and they changed their last name so that they can hide their who they really are. Like I don't know, dude. I'm Jose Gabriel Rodriguez Ochoa. Si te cae mal, te meto dos galletas. That's who I am. That's how, when I was born, on the piece of paper, they wrote Jose Gabriel Rodriguez Ochoa. I'm Cuban, I talk loud, that's who I am. You know what I mean? Jose Gabriel Rodriguez Ochoa. Socarrás también. Y Castro, like Fidel Castro. But we took that out of our last name. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's who you are. You know? And in Alabama, I met a lot of people who, they changed their last name. So what I'm trying to tell you is, there's a lot of people there in Alabama that are pretending to be somebody they're not to try to fit in to what the mode society wants them to be there. You know what I mean? Hey Nash B, what's up? Welcome on board. Just talking about life and finding yourself and all that. You know what I mean? My biggest concerns right now with all my travels are, like, I wanted to go to the Northeast completely all the way up to Maine, but I'm like, yo, like, this is gonna take like a year. Like, I don't know how long it's gonna, like, I want to see a lot of the country. So I got to see the Northeast. I maybe one day we'll return and we'll see Connecticut and Rhode Island and all that. But we got to keep it moving. We got to just fly across the country. Now we're heading to the Midwest, you know, and from the Midwest and probably to the West and then the West Coast and all that. Like, so we're just trying to, like, it's a lot. It really is. Now, let me see here some of these comments. That should be, yep, yep. All right. Live in Louisiana, and have never been forced to be anybody I wasn't. I'm from New Mexico, and I'm getting where you're coming from, but no one can take that from me. I voted for Jay did vote for Donald J. Trump. Estás loco, bro. It's not a political thing. To me, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, give you an example. Like, just blows my mind. Like, everybody told me that everybody in New York City was rude. Like, well, in my mind, when I think about New Yorkers, back in Florida, they're honking the horn, they're flicking you off, they're angry at the world. You know, they're so angry. Nobody flicked me off in New York. Like, maybe my people, if you honk the horn and me mug a little bit, and that's about it. Nothing crazy. Which goes to show that the people that I met in New York City, they were not the same specimen that I meet in Florida. So, like, you have to understand that the New Yorkers who go to Florida and move to Florida, they're not the same New Yorker who is in New York. You know what I mean? This is a whole different creature. Because in my mind, New Yorkers were honk the horn, flick you off, they come off aggressive and all that. So when I go to New York, I acted like that to people, and they thought I was aggressive. So, like, I don't know. I thought New Yorkers would be a lot more disrespectful. I actually think they were very courteous, very friendly, no different than Alabama, to be honest. You know, honestly, no different than Alabama. You know what I mean? And I know that sounds crazy, but really, like, I understood that New Yorkers would be rude and disrespectful and all that. But I did feel like a few people were really rude. Show with the, yeah. I'm not trying to get into political stuff. No, I'm not. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, everybody get off the political stuff. You know, I don't like politics on our channel. Like, Austin, Texas, probably on the way back would definitely be something to hit up. But on the way back, that's gonna be like the last of the trip. I went to Texas. Anna and Sherdian. I did go to Texas. I made it all the way, almost to Dallas. I think Texas is identical to Alabama, believe it or not, in a lot of ways. So Texas really, I saw Northeast Texas. I didn't like it at all. To me, it's identical to Alabama. The only difference is that Alabama's closer to Florida. It's 2 hours and a half from Florida beaches. If you're in Dauphin, you're an hour. Sprinklers turned on. Okay. Exactly. You get your comment deleted. No Yeah, exactly. Mike. Anybody that goes on political stuff, delete them. Mike is a moderator, except for Jay. I'll let you leave Jay on there. Next time I see you, it will be in Afghanistan. That's crazy, bro. Yeah. So, anyways, let's see here. Are you welcome in San Diego, mi hermano? No hay comida cubana que valga la pena. Oh no. Let me tell you, New York's Cuban food. Well, here's another thing that caught me off guard about New York. In New York, the food seemed the menu items were very limited. There's a Cuban population in New York. There's a huge transportation system. You would think that in New York, the food, maybe there's just more business savvy, but how they manage like their menus. The menus were smaller in New York. A lot of the things were very good and authentic, but they had very small menus. Like when I walk into a Cuban restaurant in South Florida, I can get 7 types of milkshakes. I can order like 20 things off the menu. It seemed like the menus were very compressed. The wait times were very long at restaurants, and if a customer walked into the restaurant and they were from New York, they were seated way before me as a tourist. So um, it almost seems like there's a lot of favoritism, like with the client base. Like if you're not a New Yorker, that they know like if they see you every day, they'll give you the better table, or they'll let you cut in line. You know, all that stuff. Wear a mask, please. I got vaccinated. I mean, what else can I do? Like I was in New York City today. Do you know how many thousands of people were breathing the same air that I was breathing? I'm not gonna get on that. We're not talking about mask politics and your views on coronavirus. We're not gonna talk about that on this channel. Stay in New Jersey and Holden or whatever it was. It seemed like you liked that. Yeah, Hoboken was very nice. Now, Hoboken is literally like across the Hudson River from New York. So on this side of the Hudson River is New York. On this side is New Jersey. I stayed on the New Jersey side. Now, there's a Cuban community on the New Jersey side. And I know a lot about, even though I've never been there, I know people from there. Lots of people. It's a huge Cuban community. So I already knew like New York City, West New York, Hoboken, Union City. Like I know it even though I've never been there. Because there's just a large Cuban community there. I stayed on the New Jersey side. Now, if you stay in New York, the view from New Jersey, I'll show you guys the photos. At some point, I'll upload the video. The views from New Jersey of the New York skyline are incredible. Like, if you really want to appreciate the New York skyline, you do it from New Jersey. So, we stayed in New Jersey. Our hotel, beautiful view. We could see New York. It was beautiful. I could be in New York in something like 12, 13 minutes. And because I'm in New Jersey, there's more Cuban stuff, so I can get the whatever I'm used to. So to me, going to New Jersey made more sense. Now, I thought New Jersey was kind of like trashier, but that's definitely not the case. Seems like what I saw in New York, New Jersey seems to be more civilized. Well, I mean, every YouTuber on the internet will tell you that the highest standard of living by income and statistics is New Jersey for any state in the country. So if you go on the internet, you write the best state to live in, New Jersey has the best incomes. It has the best standard of living. All that statistically, New Jersey has all that going for it. See any good Civil War historical monuments? Not in New York. They don't care about that. Great food. I know a dude out in Rhode Island, mad fishing, bro. Oh, dang. Yup, best view in New Jersey. Yeah, so from New Jersey, you can get a great view in New York. I didn't like New York City at all, but I like the view. And from New Jersey, I can get that view. So I think, for my personal liking, New Jersey. And what's crazy is, everybody that I ever met in Florida from New Jersey, I didn't see a single person in New Jersey that resembled them. Like, I'm talking like, when I think about someone from New Jersey, in my head, I'm thinking somebody like, who drives a Honda CRV, I don't know, a woman in her 50s or something, like regular Florida, New Yorker, kind of New Jersey. Go to New Jersey, it's normal people. Beautiful. India, Korean, Cuban, Dominican. It's just a beautiful mix of people. Lots of diversity. Like, I really enjoyed when I went to the Cuban restaurant that there was people from Korea eating Cuban food. It was, to me, it was beautiful. I love seeing all these Koreans eating Cuban food. That was really cool. To me, it was really cool. It sounds like Miami, Florida, but Miami is not as diverse as New York. Because in Miami you have a Haitian, which is Caribbean, Cuban, which is Caribbean, Dominican, which is Caribbean, Puerto Rican, which is Caribbean, the Trinidad, Bahamian, they're Caribbean, Jamaican, they're Caribbean. Um, there's a few Russians. There's not that much diversity. Like in New York, it's real diversity. Like you meet people and you don't know. Like when I say, um, when I say, I'm gonna have to charge the phone. It's gonna die. Well, we have to end this live stream. I can't be out here forever. It's late at night. I'm outside the hotel talking to a phone. People are gonna think I'm crazy for real. When I say like diversity, I mean like I would meet people in New Jersey and like I was at a gas station, right? And this dude's got this like orange thing on his head, and he's like, "You want to buy gas?" And I was like, "I don't know you." So I walk into the gas station, and then he walks in behind me. He's like you do not know that I work at this gas station. I'm like, I don't know that you work at a gas station. So if you live in New Jersey, you know that I guess Pakistani people they run all the gas stations. I think. So he assumed when I saw him outside the gas station, he assumed that I assumed that he was Pakistani, so that he had to be the one in charge of this gas station. He talked to me outside the gas station, like, "Hey, you would like to get gas?" And I was like, "I don't know you." I just walked right into the gas station. He was mad. He was like, "Okay, Katie said come sleep." Oh. So, um, I don't know. Like a lot of times we assume that other people know about our culture, and that's a horrible thing to do. You should never assume anything. So a lot of, like this dude at the gas station, like he assumed that I knew that he was Pakistani, so I should have known that he was running the gas station. I didn't know that. So he got mad at me. This dude was like really mad at me. People are talking in your phone like they're think they're that's 20. Oh yeah. But hey bro, how cold it is like it's probably 61. I think it's like between 59 to 61. And if you get near the mountains, it actually feels a little bit colder than that. So somewhere around me, it might be in the 50s, 60s. I looked at the temperature and it said 60 for the place I'm in. That's great. It's cooler already. And then another thing, like people that move to Florida, they don't understand. Like literally, when I moved back to Florida and like at nighttime, I would open my door. Bro, you walk outside at night in Florida and it's unbearable. Jose, Italian food doesn't always love us. Yeah. Oh, so you guys are telling me that I need. You guys were telling me that we needed to eat New York pizza in New York. Well, we're both. I can't eat pizza anymore. Like I have to. I'm eating like salads and stuff like that. If I eat pizza, I'm paying a price. You know what I mean? Kate, what are you doing? Like, why would you even say that on a live stream? Like, what is your problem, Katie? I challenge you to basketball real quick. Make you really, man, you really drove up the East Coast. Yeah, it's a long drive. It really is. Most people in the U.S. live in the same state their entire lives. They don't know. Yep. Most people don't leave their state. They'll never move to another state like I did, just randomly. Um, they don't understand. But I think it's good to explore and see different places. I was not able. Nashby, I know. I've been reading your comments. I feel so bad. Okay, I have not been able to eat pizza because I can't. Like today we had a salad. I just can't do it anymore. My body cannot handle that. And like even when I go eat Cuban food, I have to be more selective. I'm really struggling with my health. New York City is very different than anywhere else in the United States. Yeah, New York City is a whole different thing. It's so out of all places I did travel, Cary, North Carolina seemed to be very diverse. Very like almost New York City diverse but smaller. You learn about people life, yeah. You see Arkansas and North Dakota. I did went to Arkansas. I did that. Yeah, we went to Arkansas. We went to Arkansas when I lived in Alabama. I went to Arkansas. Beautiful place. Beautiful place. But I could tell the people were really backwards. Like I could just tell they're really backwards in Arkansas. Like more than I can handle. But I did went to Arkansas and it's beautiful. The landscape is amazing. Hey, nice talking to you though. Love following you and your Katie. Hope you find a place you really like. You deserve it. Missing your pizza. We're in Florida now, and let me get this straight with you guys, okay? I'm in Florida because I had to run away from Alabama, and I didn't have the opportunity to find another place, so I rented in Florida with family. I'm in Florida because my family is from Florida. I'm from Florida. My friends are in Florida. Okay? I'm from Florida. My family's in Florida. My roots are in Florida. And what I'm familiar with is in Florida. Okay? And my family and friends, the few ones that are real, kind of talk to me and they're like, you should, and they're probably right. Just slow life down for a little bit. Come back home. You're safe here, and that's very true. I don't have safety concerns where I'm from. Everybody knows me, and I've never had a safety concern that much. I'm home, safe. The heat is unbearable. I like the weather up this way more. The heat is unbearable. Let me just be clear. The heat's unbearable. I don't think I have any job opportunities. Um, and I feel like I'm drowning in Florida right now. Like, I know economically, I feel like I'm drowning. Like everything, like I know that I feel like I'm drowning economically in Florida. And the heat and the humidity is unbearable. And I feel like I've burnt the place out and I want to be somewhere else. But what I need is a group of people around me that love me, know me. Like you can't. I can move to New Jersey right now and get a great job and live in the nicest, the Hoboken place I like. But guess what? I'm not from there. I don't know anybody there. In Fort Myers, Naples, I have family. Hey Jose, we're roasting a pig. Come over here. We're roasting a pig. You know what I mean? Hey Jose, let's go fishing. Jose goes fishing. It's where I'm from. My people are there. You know what I mean? Like, you can't replace that anywhere else. Like, I was in Alabama for 1 year. I had one person that I went fishing with every once in a while, and when I encountered some difficulties, that person just disappeared from my life completely. Like they're oh no, I put everybody in Alabama that I met to the test. I really did. I told them what I was going through, stuff that you guys don't know. Everybody that I met in Alabama, I sent them a text message and I let them, or called them. I let them all know what I was going through, and they all just kind of like backed off. I don't have nobody there, bro. Like in Southwest Florida, I'm not gonna tell you I have millions of people, but I got people I can go fishing with. I got people that invite me. My first week down to Florida, I had people inviting me to go fishing with them. People that I know since I was little, others that I've met later on in life but are good friends. Somebody invited me to their house for dinner. Another person invited me for a game night. They brought all their friends. Like it's just you can't put price on family. Like like in Lehigh Acres on a Friday night, we blast our Cuban music, and there's the neighbors. They know we're Cuban. Part of the package. We like to party. Now, when we play, and if you're American, I want you to know this about us, because I think Americans don't get this about Cubans. When we blast our music, it's not that we're trying to be ignorant. It's not that we're trying to be, because like when I was in Alabama, people in Alabama, they don't play music because they're happy. They play music because they want to disturb their neighbors or they want to make a statement about their lifestyle. We don't do that. We Latinos, we listen to music because music is part of who we are. You understand me? Like, and that's the same thing for African Americans are the same way. Like, we don't listen to music because we're trying to make a statement. Like, one thing about Alabama is like, my neighbors, when they're playing music loud, like they would never listen to music. I would put on my music. They would put up their music. Not because they wanted to listen to music. They would put on their music because I was listening to mine. It was a political statement for them. I don't listen to music to make a political statement. When you're in downtown and you hear a Puerto Rican listen to reggaeton loudly, he's not listening to reggaeton because he's trying to like force his Puerto Rican on you. He's listening to reggaeton because that's who he is as a person, and that music makes you happy. And in Florida, I can be that person that I am. I can blast my salsa music, my merengue, my bachata, whatever I'm listening to. I can crank that up. And if the people are there, the neighbor across the street, they can hear my music. Like where I live now, every Friday we throw a party. Like where I'm living out in Florida now, every Friday, every Saturday, we barbecue and we blast Spanish music for hours. There's white people across the street, behind us, all the way around us, it's white people. They know that's what Spanish people do. It's not that we're trying to be. Uh, it's so weird in Alabama, like that. I realize that my neighbors they don't listen to music, and if they do, it's to make a statement. Like one neighbor listens to rap music, like he's trying to portray that he's tough. The other guy listens to country music because he's trying to pretend he's a redneck. The other one listens to rock because he thinks he's trying to portray that he's angry. No, I listen to music because I love music. You know what I mean? No musical diversity. You know what I mean? Like, and that's one thing that people from New York understand that. You know, like I'm in New Jersey. I'm in a rich white area. Hoboken, where I was at, it's a rich white area. But there's Puerto Ricans and Dominicans and Cubans, and they're blasting their music. You know what I mean? Like every once in a while, you see a white guy smirk at it or whatever. But whatever. Like, but they're not. We're not doing it to be obnoxious. We're doing it because we. That's who we are. You know what I mean? And um, all family in New York, but can go back because I've been gone too long. Why not all of them? I like that. Yeah, no mystical diversity, but it's okay. Weird. I'm back in North Carolina, a different section of the state. Yep, I completely understand. Yeah, Big J, you know what I'm talking about. Big J, you know what I mean. Jay knows what I'm talking about. Big J lives in Alabama. When I hung out with Big J, he's listening to Cuban music loud in Dothan, Alabama. He's going around Dothan, Alabama, blasting Cuban music. I'm sitting here like, you're gonna get us both killed. I love Georgia, and I can't see myself living anywhere else. Live in Georgia. Yeah, Georgia is. Some places are very country. Some places are. But here's the thing about it, like Georgia. I have friends that are from Georgia, from very country places, and they tell me when you go to Alabama, it's a different world. Like when you cross that state line into Alabama, it's a different world. I left New York City, I did, and I'm sorry. I know you were excited about me being in New York City. I couldn't do it, bro. It's too much for me, and like the cost. I'm not a rich person, so I can't just the cost, the tolls, like literally, like I don't know if you've never been in New York City. Like I'm in a car, so like between tolls, tickets that I'm getting. I know I got tickets in the mail coming because I blew a few red lights and all that. I'm not a. I can't spend $1,000 a day to be in New York. I just can't do it. Like it's a miracle that I was able to do it for a day or two. You know what I mean? Izoki PA is fun. Yeah, yeah. So we got more to see. I wish I could spend a week or two in New York. I tried to convince Katie that we should be a lot longer in New York, but she didn't want to. She wants to go to Michigan, and I was going to go to Connecticut and all the way up to Maine possibly, but after being a whole day in New York City, I was like, I need to just get away from this. Can't do it anymore. Um, so yes, it's very expensive to be in New York City. Yeah, Big J. So yeah, in Florida, I can be who I. So just so you guys understand this, why I live in Florida now and all that. My family's there. My friends are there. Am I gonna make more money in Florida? No. Am I gonna get rich in Florida? No. Am I gonna be able to travel like I used to when I was living in Alabama? Probably not. But I have family and I have friends. And my family and my friends mean more to me than all the money in the world. And also being who I am, bro. Like, I can't do this whole pretending to be somebody I'm not thing in Alabama. I really can't. Because the thing about Alabama is, if when I play my Cuban music or I listen to Mexican music too, they take it as I'm making a political statement. No, I'm listening to music because I'm happy. So I don't need all that psychology to anything. Like, I don't need psychology. When I'm happy, I want to blast music, I do it, and that's it. I don't need psychology behind listening to music. You know what I mean? It's just stupid backwards crap, man. I don't need it in my life. And moving to New York, for example, yeah, there's a bunch of Cubans and Puerto Ricans there. I would be in my environment, but again, it's not. It's the people that I have there, and I don't have a lot of them, but I have a little group of people that I can feel comfortable with. And I'm gonna be honest, Katie is and I are very different. I mean, I'm Cuban. She's from Michigan. We are we love each other, but we're very different creatures. Her family is different from my family, and us being together because we love each other, being different, is difficult. Very difficult. You know, especially in this country. It's hard, like very difficult. Because my family expects certain things from me, her family expects different things from her. It's overwhelming. Does the culture have the right to eject outsiders? I think other countries have the power, but the USA lost its creates function. Will Katie want to go with you to Florida? We already are in Florida. I understand. Yeah, we're in Florida. We've been in Florida. We're living in Florida right now. When we're not on the road, I guess. I think my real home is the road. I like to travel, and I gotta just do this for now. But this makes no sense, by the way. Being on the road, traveling the country right now, to me makes no sense. It's very expensive, and it makes no sense. But I know I got it. I'm just, yeah. Eventually, I'll find myself. Eventually, I'll know what I want to do. But it's definitely not going back to Florida to do what I was doing before. Yeah, we're living in Florida. We're renting somebody's garage in Florida, and I'm happier in somebody's garage in Florida. See, my mistake was that when I went to Alabama, I never had anything. I never had a nice car. When I lived in Florida, I never had a nice car. I never had more than $1,000 in the bank. I never had anything. We had a house paid off, and it was blood, sweat, and tears to get it. I had nothing in Florida. It was just 9 to 5. When I went to Alabama, I got a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house with an acre of land, creek out back. I bought a newer car for me. I was able to travel, I started making more money. So I got consumed with materialism in Alabama. My life became about, like, there was days in Alabama where I was bored and I would just go shopping and buy stuff just to, like, have something to do. You know what I mean? Or we would travel just because we had not, like, it didn't feel like, yeah, it had all these material things, like big, 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, piece of the woods that were mine, nicer cars, a little bit of money, and I was totally empty on the inside. You know what I mean? Now I live in somebody's garage in Florida, but I'm happy. Like, I feel that I can be who I am, and that whoever I am is understood and accepted. Did you have a lawnmower? That's the question. What are you talking about? The road trip where the trees are green, no cold stakes, no other road trips. Buy a reasonable price piece of land in the area. Yes, we're working towards that. You can put something up in temporary until you. No, you cannot do that in Florida. In Florida, you cannot do that. In Florida, nature lover, if you're, I'm going to buy a piece of land in Florida. We're just very picky about specifically where that property is. Building require. I know how Florida works in detail. I used to pull permits in Florida, so I know, and I know Florida like the back of my hand, especially the area that I'm from. It's gonna be the specific type of property I want. It's gotta have specific features that I want. It's gotta be in a specific zoning that I want. And there's a lot that goes into it. In Florida, you got wind zone regulation, you got flood zone regulations, you have permit processes, you got building requirements, you have different counties with different regulations, and I know exactly what I want to do, and there's only certain places that fit my needs. So with that, yes, I do want to buy a piece of land in Florida. Now, that piece of land, is going to be in a specific neighborhood. In that neighborhood, I want it to be on a specific street or another street because one street, for example, the houses are all packed up against each other, like row houses. Like they're all packed against each other. I don't want that. I want lots that are spread out so that my house is adjacent to like a piece of like wooded area that's protected or something, or a canal or something, so I know I'm not going to get neighbors next door that I don't like. So yes, I'm working towards that, but I'm working towards finding a very specific property. And I have a few leads. The one that I really want to buy, the person doesn't want to sell the land, so there's no rush. Eventually, I want to buy a piece of land, and eventually, I want to build a house. But this isn't going to happen today. We're going to buy the land. It's going to sit there, and eventually, then I'll fill it in, and I'll plant the trees, and then I'll get a culvert, and then that's a process to build a property. Eventually, I will build my property in Florida. The biggest acquisition is going to be the land, and then we'll draw up the plans. It's a process, and it doesn't have to be for today or tomorrow. Um, in the neighborhood that I want to buy a property in, there's people who have owned these properties since the 80s, and they still haven't built their house. So, with time, we will build a house. Another thing that I like about the area that I'm buying is that when I talk to somebody who owns land, they're like, "Oh, we're gonna build a house eventually." So when like, give you guys a few tips. Like if you're buying lots, if you call the person who owns a lot and it's an investment or whatever, that's gonna depend on the economy. That's a gamble, based on the economy. But when you call the owner and they say, "Eventually, I'm gonna build a house," and you call on the next street over and you call the owner and, "Oh, we're gonna build a house soon," let you know, okay, this community is gonna be built up, and these people, they've been saving for a long time. They're gonna build new houses. So we're in the process, and I think I will buy a piece of land. But in Florida, you can't just buy a piece of land and live on it. No, that's not how Florida works. In Florida, if it's an empty lot, it's an empty lot. You can't even park a car there in Florida because Florida has very strict. I know in Alabama, for example, I could buy a piece of land and I could live on the land in a tent. Like the property behind mine, way far in the distance in Alabama, maybe like, I don't know, like half a mile behind me. It was an adjacent lot, but the lots were really big. They were living in a tent or a car. So they bought the land and then they're living in a tent or a car on the land. But you can't do that in Florida. In Florida, you can't do that. Now, there's places in Florida where you can do that. I am not living in a place like that. Let me tell you, I'm going to live in Florida around rich people. That's it. The place that I'm living at now is all surrounded by rich white people. That's what I want to have around me. When I build my house, it's going to be in a rich white area. I don't want to ever live in the ghetto or in the backwoods. From now on, I have to live around rich people. I'm tired of dealing with ghetto drama, trashy head redneck hicks. I'm tired of all that crap. I got to live in a decent place, okay? And if it means that I have to rent and not buy, then that's fine. But where I lay my head at night to sleep has to be a place that I feel safe. When I stay in hotels, the battery's dead, guys. The battery's gonna die on this phone. Let me read some of these comments. I see you guys are going crazy in the comment section. Yo, I got 50 people. Let me see if I can charge the phone. Y'all stay on with me for a minute. Katie's not happy. She wants me to go to sleep in the hotel, but I'm gonna turn. My phone's about to die. Let me charge it real quick. Let me charge the phone real quick. Give me a second. I see all types of comments. Hold on. Let me charge this phone for a minute because it's about to die. And I gotta drink some water. Give me a minute, y'all. Hold on. Y'all, let me charge this phone because it's about to die. I'm getting all types of warning signals from the phone. It's like, yo, your camera's about to die. Are you driving across the U.S.? Yeah, we're gonna drive across the West Coast. Give me a minute, y'all. Let me charge this phone before it dies. And I dropped my keys. Hold on, y'all. Let me charge this phone because it's about to die. Yo, it's cold. It's like in the 60s out there. Lock the car too. Make sure this phone's charging. I think it's charging. Okay. We'll read some of these comments. Oh, I can put the phone on this thing here. Okay. Hold on, y'all. We're still on. We're live. Okay, here we go. All right. Check out Amish country, Pennsylvania. I think I'm close to Amish country. Yeah, I think it's pretty much Amish country out here in some way or another. I don't blame you. And then you left New York City. It's way too much in that city. Yeah, you probably gotta leave and go to Florida. Everybody in New York City wants to move to Florida. Everybody in New York City wants to move to Florida. But there's a lot of things they don't understand. There's a lot of stuff they don't understand. Like they're I would say the blind. Hold on, y'all. I would describe it as the blind leading the blind. What state are you guys in? We're in Pennsylvania right now. I would describe it as the blind leading the blind. I mean, everybody wants to move to Florida, but they don't know anything about this place. It's like, I don't know anything about New York. They don't understand Florida. And a lot of them are going to get burned. Because let me tell you, there are, just like there's scammers in New York City who they think they're slick. Yeah, there's people in Florida who think they're slick too. In the villages. But I've put 2,800 miles on this truck since I bought it. Almost 3,000 miles since I bought it. I'm trying to. I'm just saying this is a new. Excuse me? What happened, Big J? What happened, Big J? You've been to Florida 6 times? Yeah. But here's what you don't understand. Like going to a place. I'm not saying you don't personally understand Florida. I mean, in general, as a general thing. The people moving to Florida don't understand it. You know. Dolphins. Big J says he lives in the projects in Dauphin. Public housing. Yes, sir. Where she's inside the hotel mad at me because she wants me to go sleep, but I can't sleep right now. I got a live stream. I just got to talk to you guys real quick. I'm not tired at all. It's been a crazy day. Woke up in New York City. New York, Jersey. Went to New York City. Had to drive all through New Jersey to get out of New York City. And we drive all the way out here to Pennsylvania. I don't know. I'm somewhere in eastern Pennsylvania. I don't even know what the town's name. Somewhere in eastern Pennsylvania. Holmes, whatever. What's your favorite place you ate at? I went to La Isla and I ate at the Cuban place. I didn't try anything in New York that was incredible. Other than La Isla Cuban, their bread was incredible. And I've heard the bread in New York is really good. My thoughts on Pennsylvania. So I had heard that Pennsylvania is part of the Rust Belt. So it's supposed to be kind of like dirty and dingy, right? No, this is the hotel I'm staying at was built a month ago. The roads are new. The trees are planted new. Like this whole town, like the town that I'm staying in now, it's like everything's brand new. Like this town wasn't here a year ago. And if they have a town center, but like this wasn't here. Like everything, I couldn't believe. Like this is like a suburb. Like everything's brand new. Jersey's not a bad place. New York City's not bad. Yeah, I mean it all depends. I think at the end of the day, we're not happy. A lot of people are not happy with where they are. Let me give you a little bit of peace of mind. I was in Florida. I was tired of where I was. I tried something different. I got more money where I moved to. I mean, look at this truck that I'm in now. I would have never had this if I stayed in Florida. Okay. We're traveling now. If I stayed in Florida, we wouldn't be traveling the country. I get all that. But what really matters should be, as far as where you live, is being near people you love, being near people that love you, and in a place where you feel comfortable. And a lot of times, I needed to step out of my comfort zone, and I did. I've done it, and I'm going to continue to keep stepping out of my comfort zone. Sometimes it's dangerous, sometimes, but I feel that I have to find really what I want to do with myself. A lot of people don't have the opportunity to do that. Like, I have it. What the crap, right? You know? Like, I came up with a lot of odds stacked against me. Like, a lot of people come up with a lot of odds stacked in their favor. I grew up with a lot of odds stacked against me, so I got to make the best of whatever the crap life gives me. You know what I mean? I can't give up. I just got to make it and be successful and help other people too. You know, I have had people tell me that I have beautiful qualities like my honesty, the fact that I'm not scared to say things to people that they need to hear, whether they want to hear them or not. I met a gentleman in New York who told me that he thinks I was intellectual. So he said he studied psychology. He thinks I'm an intellectual person. He says, you're very sophisticated and intellectual. To have a New Yorker tell you that they think you're sophisticated and intellectual is interesting. Because I think a lot of people think they're intellectual and sophisticated. And that's not the way I look at myself. Like, I don't see myself as sophisticated or intellectual. I see myself as a complete brute of life. You know what I mean? But, like, I don't see myself as being intellectual or being. I don't see myself that way. You know, I see myself as a complete hick. When I lived in Alabama, I enjoyed burning couches for entertainment. You know what I mean? So it's hard for me to consider myself an intellectual. Would an intellectual person enjoy burning a couch for? And I did enjoy it. I'm not gonna lie. Like, there's some things that I really loved about Alabama, like burning a couch. In New York City, you can't burn a couch or a mattress in your front lawn. Has anybody watching this live stream ever burned a mattress or a couch just to watch it burn in their front yard or backyard? Has anybody done that? If you've ever, I want to see your comments. Has anybody ever burned a couch? Adversity since 2019 forced me more when yeah. No, you've never burned a couch. It's interesting. Where is your wife at? I wouldn't want. Has anybody ever burned a couch or a mattress just for fun? You burn a lot of things. Yeah, what type of thing are you burning? What type of substance? I'm not talking about substances. No, it's fun. I completely agree with Anne's comment about yes, you have to be around people who love you. Yes, it's super important. Because no matter what happens, I'm not from that little town in Alabama. I'm never gonna be from there, and those people are never gonna. They're never gonna. I'm never gonna be able to be part of that fiber of their people. You're always an outsider. Nobody's gonna invite you to have dinner with them. You know what I mean? Would you ever come back to New York City? Yeah, I would. I would come back to New York City, but I'll tell you this. I'm not going near Manhattan. I would like to go to New Jersey. I would like to go to Long Island. I would like to go maybe to the Bronx. As far as Manhattan, that little island, I don't want to see the place ever again. Uh, However, I count myself, and I told Katie, if you think we left New York City because we're afraid, we have to go back and face it. Anything I could get my hands on, dude, I'll start a fire with whatever. Yeah, it's fun. I miss that about Alabama. Like, in Alabama, and I can't do that in Florida. Like, you can't just like burn a couch in Lehigh or Fort Myers. You will go to jail. Like, if all of a sudden you burn a couch or a mattress in Lehigh or Fort Myers, you are going to jail. You're not just gonna go outside and burn your couch in Lehigh. That's not gonna happen. You will go to jail, by the way. But in Alabama, there's a lot of things I really miss about Alabama, like that I know that I cannot do where I live now. I want to make a video about avoiding how to deflect violent situations as we travel around all these places. It's a great topic. But anyways, there's a lot of things I do miss about Alabama. Like, it's really cool and fun to just go to your front lawn and just light a couch on fire. Beauty in the simplicity of life. What about working at one of those new Hispanic radio stations? Oh, I couldn't do a job like that. Broadcasting. The thing about it is, when you work for somebody else, You have to let them. I would be great at it, but I don't want to be on somebody else's schedule. Like today, I have look at my eyes; they're probably red. I've gone hard today. Like I don't have a problem going hard for me, but I do have a problem waking up at 9 in the morning for somebody else, let alone 6 or 5. If it's for me, when I wake up and my mind tells me today we're going to drive to Michigan, if it takes 14 hours, I'm driving to Michigan, but it's at my own will. I cannot let somebody else dictate my life for me. Like I could never see if I saw myself in a nine, and I've been there before. I was the most miserable person you would ever meet. For a brief period of my life, I had a good job, and I lost my job during 2007, 2008 when that recession happened. I ended up working at an Applebee's. I was living 9 to 5 paycheck to paycheck, and for a while, my paycheck wasn't even enough to pay the bills. I was the most miserable person ever. And I went to somebody and I said, "Hey, bro, I can't do this. I can't live like this. I'm going to go crazy." And the person was like, "Hey, take this money and do whatever you want with it. And then come back and talk to me when you got it." 2 weeks later, I came back and I gave him his money. Like that. Like, this person was like, "I see what you're going through. I want to help you. Then lend me some money." I bought a truck and a trailer. And in 2 weeks, I paid that person their money back. In 2 weeks, I got bought a truck and trailer, and in 2 weeks, I paid that person back. Like literally, it was an old truck and an old trailer. I started doing little jobs for people, and I got the money and I paid the person back. Like I could not see myself ever again living a 9 to 5 life. When I was 18 years old, I lived through this. I was 18 years old, and I said, "Nope, I cannot live a 9 to 5 life." Podcasts are big nowadays. Diversity beyond YouTube. I don't want to be diversified outside of YouTube. I can barely do YouTube. Why would I? It's just like people tell me do a broadcast. And look, you have to whatever you do in life. You focus on one thing. I am my mind is focused on one thing right now. My mind is focused on this YouTube channel. When Katie starts talking to me about a dress or something, or when my friend talks to me about his car, I don't. I'm focused on whatever I'm doing. My mind is very simple. I am very dedicated, but it's on one thing, and it's on this YouTube right now. That's why we're traveling the country. I really struggle to shift gears in my mind from one thing to another. But yeah, I struggle to work for somebody else. So I've learned to depend on me, and that's definitely not been easy. But when I did work 9 to 5 and I was depending on somebody else, I was the most miserable person. I would come home, I would sit in the shower and cry, and I can't do. I need something more meaningful in my life. I have to do something meaningful. Otherwise, I'm not happy. And I think the people around me that believe in me and that invest in me, they understand that. They understand, like, when I've been down and out, I've had people approach me like, "I know you can't. You need to do something. Like, you need to focus your energy." And I've had people that that thing where I'm at now is that the people that I got behind me in Naples, they know where I came from. I got 10 people, not 100, but I got 10 people like I count on my hands. They know where I came from. They know what I've overcome, and they got faith in me. They know that I'm going. All I need is one little thing that I can grab onto. You know what I mean? And then I'm gonna make it happen. So it's hard right now, and I've had to do things that I've been terrified of. I was terrified of selling my house. So I had to sell it. I was terrified of moving to Alabama. I had to move there. Leaving Alabama was even scarier than moving to Alabama. Going back to Florida was scary. Listening to what everybody's opinion was about why I moved back to Florida was scary. Going on a road trip across the country is scary. But if you cocoon yourself within a layer of comfort, you're never going to accomplish anything in your life. At some point, you have to break out of that cocoon of comfort. Some people are okay with that. That's cool. Hey, if you are that little slow turtle and you're just okay with that long, that's cool. I'm definitely, listen to me, people. I'm definitely not telling you that you need to go out tomorrow and buy a yacht or whatever. You know, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you need to do some crazy stuff in your life. I'm saying that for some reason I've had to do it. You know what I mean? Am I recommending it to you? Probably not. Only you know if you need to do it. But sometimes in life, you do have to be decisive. I was a salesperson and for a while, and I learned one thing being a salesperson. That is, you up to, what's up? Yeah, I haven't been able to sleep much. Motivational speaker in school in your own schedule. Risk always scary. Oh, risk is always scary. You gotta take a risk to make it. Like, I've learned in life that to make large profits, you're not going to make a large profit without an incredible amount of risk and fear. Risk and fear go along with profit. These two things go hand in hand. You're not going to make profit without fear, you know. Every opportunity you don't take is a miss out. Well, not every opportunity. You know, Nashby, here's an interesting kind of reply to that. Not every opportunity is an opportunity. Some things are just best let go. Like in Alabama, I could have been like, oh, I'm making a lot of money here. I got a big house in Alabama. I'm making a lot of money. I'm traveling a lot. And I could have stayed in that situation, and who knows what would have happened to me. Being in Alabama, to me, was a great opportunity monetarily. Because I was making good money, everything seemed to be... But I had to lose all of that. I had to just say... I had like 5 or 6 junk cars that I had to give to other people. I lost a lot. Sometimes knowing what opportunities to pass on can be even more important than knowing what opportunities you need to jump on. Let me read some of these comments. I remember moving out back to North Carolina was scary, especially with all the criticism I faced with my family. Yep. Oh, yeah. Because your family's like, oh, you're moving back. No, you're a failure. You're not a failure because you're moving back, bro. You're a failure because you haven't tried anything. I'm trying something, okay? So all the people, like when I moved back to Naples, like, oh, you know, you failed in Alabama. You didn't do too good in Alabama. I said, no, bro. I tried to do something in my life. What are you doing? You're in the same place you were. There's nothing wrong with me going to Alabama and then coming back. You know what's wrong is that you're still here doing exactly what you were doing a year ago. You haven't tried nothing different. You're still stuck in the same... You're not trying. I'm trying. You know what I mean? And I also told people in Naples one thing. I told them, I said, when I come back to Naples, I'm not coming over here to pick up garbage again. Because that's what I used to do. I'll come back in a brand new car with money in the bank and with a lot more... Like, I'm going to come back with something better. And I'm going to come back to something better because if it ain't this, then it's that or the other thing. I'm going to keep trying. I'm not going to sit here and live this 9-to-5 life working for rich tourists my whole life wondering why the crap... No, you got to try. You got to do something. I don't see it as a failure. A lot of people criticize me. A lot of people criticize. I got people tell me, oh, Jose, oh, you came back to Naples. You know, I pull out my phone and I show them my bank balance. And I'll be like, yo, but look at this. Or, you know, whatever. But I told them I'm not going to come back to living in a trailer in the ghetto again. Okay, I'm not going to go back to living in the ghetto in Florida again with the same neighbors that have been... No, I'm not going back to that. I came back better than I was when I left. For one, I'm not afraid of nothing now. Not that I was before, but I mean, I was afraid. I was afraid to move. How you been to Georgia? I made a video down there. Yeah, I go to Georgia a lot. Georgia's like in the middle of everything. If every time you leave or enter Florida, so yeah. Would you ever drive in other countries outside? No, driving outside the United States is driving in the United States is scary, let alone outside of it. Can you guys see how tired I am? I gotta get some sleep, y'all. I really do. I gotta let you guys go. Mm. I think we're gonna try to go to Michigan. Canada sucks. Canada, Canada. All right, guys, I gotta get some rest. But let me tell y'all something. Whatever you do, you don't have to jump out and move somewhere tomorrow. Definitely not saying you have to move. If you are surrounded by people that love you, that's worth more than being, like sometimes we go to New York City and we make a lot of money and we pick up a lot of investments, and now you got a portfolio, and now you got stocks, and now you're buying land, and now you come back in a Range Rover. But it's not what you pick up in life, it's what you leave behind. And a lot of times there's some things you can't leave behind, and that is one, your loved ones and friends that really matter. And two is your identity of who you are. You can't sell yourself out. You know what I mean? Like, I was in an elevator. I stayed in a very fancy place when I was in New Jersey. It's called the W. If you guys know if you're from New Jersey, I mean, it's a very expensive hotel. And I was watching the other guests that were in that hotel. Very fancy. These are like New Jersey's like, top of the line. I mean, it's a fancy city and it's the fanciest hotel in the fanciest city. So the people that are staying here, they feel like they're elevated. You know what I mean? And I'm in the elevator with these two young girls that are dressed from head to toe in dresses. And the girl goes like, she was talking in emojis, like LMO, like oh my gosh, like da 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 da, LOL. Like I'm sitting there like, you are a grown adult and you are talking in emojis. I'm sitting there like, you are a grown adult and you are talking in emojis to look like you're cool. Like, you can just tell. And then there's a group of people there, right? And they're all wearing their suits and ties and they look really fancy. And they have security people and all that. Like, it's just a whole arrangement of people. And among all those people, I realized that this group of, apparently, upper class, whatever you want to call these people, look like a bunch of hicks in Alabama to me. Indistinguishable. But at some point, we, in the search of sophistication, economical progress, we just sell out who we are. And we forget who we are. That doesn't mean you can't improve yourself. Definitely always improve yourself. Always be better. But don't sell yourself out. I'm going to read some of these comments and I really got to go. I'm tired. You are so blessed to have family. Yep. I can definitely admit that Alabama will catch you when you're sleeping. And the fact that everybody here is a family or somebody related. Oh, they'll catch you. Yeah, man. What does this emojis look like? Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I mean, these girls, like, they're so fake. Like, they're pretending. Like, I'm in this hotel. I'm tired. I've been out all day. I stayed in this hotel because of its strategic location. And because you'll see the videos I made, and when you get it, you're like, oh, that's Jose. That's kind of okay. What you'll see more videos. I gotta upload of it. You'll see it eventually. But I'm in this hotel because I have a strategic reason why I'm there. They're there for some little wedding or who knows what the crap or event or reception for a wedding, whatever. But I just couldn't get over how fake these people were. Like, in their minds, they're like some sophisticated aristocrats or something. And I'm like, bro, you are in an elevator at 3 a.m. with a feather on your head, talking in emojis. LOL, like LMO, like, dude, you are like 30 freaking years old. Like, grow the crap up, really? Like, and even when I see a lot of these other, like, New York people, like, they put on this persona that I'm like, come on, deep down, there's a lot of makeup on you right now. You know, take it off and be whoever you are. That's all I got. And Big J, I admire you, bro. I know you're still watching. I admire you, bro, because when I hung out with you, bro, you were listening to Cuban music, loud as crap, in Dothan, Alabama. That takes a little bit of courage to let everybody there know, hey, this is who I am. And they look at when they see Big J in Alabama, they see somebody who's arrogant and ignorant and who's trying to like portray something. What they don't understand that Big J is just being himself. He just wants to listen to Cuban music because he's a Cuban from Miami, and that's what you got. Just be who you are, and at the end of the day, if you ain't paying my bills, then your opinion don't matter. I gotta let you guys go, bro, because you met me, right? Dale, mi hermano, I'm out for real. I gotta get some sleep. What is it? 3 in the morning. I'm paying for a hotel to sleep in. I'm not even sleeping in it. I gotta go, y'all.